Okay, welcome back to the Confidence Series. We're Wednesday live as usual. And today I'm so excited, Diana. We are back, and Diana did an amazing television interview that I hope you are all can all watch. Go to her Instagram or Facebook or even mine. I posted it on mine as well. You should definitely watch that, about having hard conversations. And this is everything to do with confidence. And today we're going to talk about boundaries, because boundaries and confidence go together hand in hand. Isn't that right, Diana?
100%. And I just believe all of us need to really clearly hear this. And we're going to say it loud for the people in the back, because strong women and these women who do so many things need to hear this. And men, I'm just saying, but we women sometimes, I really think from a stereotypical perspective, yes, we struggle with this.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's just historical. It's nothing to do that we are less capable or less worthy or anything like that. And we don't even believe that anymore. It's just that historically we've been used to standing in the background and not imposing ourselves. And this is just a culture. We're carrying this with us, even though our society has moved on. Mm-hmm. So we just have to kick ourselves a little bit in the butt, very lovingly, and set some boundaries, because we tend to be so giving and so caring, right? And we all do this, and it's a lovely thing, right? Yes. But we also need to set boundaries, and we're going to tell you what happens when we don't set boundaries and why we need them, and what you should be looking out for.
So where we're going to talk about. Sorry, everybody. From a technical perspective, I was on the last slide.
So we have three points that we're going to talk about when it comes to setting boundaries and saying no with confidence. Mm-hmm. And number one is own your worth. Mm-hmm. Number two, know your why. Mm-hmm. And number three, be prepared to execute. And we're going to explain all of those. So do you want to kick us up with the first one?
Let's start it. Uni, I think everyone needs to understand something. You are going to consistently see themes. You are consistently seeing themes because you consistently need to be consistent with the themes. Okay. Can we get some snaps in the house? And the reason why is because we have to work on very basic things to be confident. Owning your worth is something to be repeated every day, every minute, and every hour. Okay. Because all of us really need to value who we are. There's one thing I see consistent with your videos, with your research, Uni, and everything that you talk about. It's about, first of all, valuing who you are. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this right before we got started, but a lot of us really don't understand who we are. Yeah. We've adopted a series of unconscious things that sit in the back of our mind, narratives that aren't who we are. It came from our environment, and it came from who we saw ourselves in media and so forth. So when you value who you are, you're able to establish these boundaries that, as we say here, are absolutely critical for a healthy, and I love the word sane, effective business and personal life. So without this, you're going to find yourself, and I love colossal. That is a word, a full stop word, colossal mess. Yeah. Of frustration and irritation and wondering what went wrong. Because I really feel like a lot of people were like, how did that happen? What was that about? Because you were not really understanding and valuing who you are. And we say this all the time. The second point of owning your worth, having a daily practice. We can't overemphasize this enough, that you need to make certain that you're pulling aside time. Now, I want people to remember this, and this might cause people some angst and some feelings of, ugh. It's because when you were in school, you took time after you got out of your school day to study for the test, right? You took time every single day. You pulled aside time to study for your test, your life. And if you want to star in the role of your life, to have the right boundaries in your life, you are going to be studying yourself for the rest of your life. That's called a daily practice. All right. So I really want you all to really think about pulling aside 15 minutes every single day. Meditate, journal, set your intention for the day. You're like, oh my gosh, Diana, I know you said it. You've said it 1,000 times, and we're going to say it 1,000 times more. Get used to it. We need it. Celebrate yourself. I love it, Uni, when you always talk about this, because this is usually something you bring up. And of course, we always have to reference Jen Gottlieb from Super Connector Media. Yes. Have a badass list. Write down your accomplishments. See them every day. Uni, you said you have them on your desk. Everybody, you need to. And the reason why this is so important is because, I don't know if you've ever heard this parable that if you build your house on sand, because it's really pretty and it's next to the beach, when you have a storm that comes through, your house is going to be in the ocean. You need to build your house on a solid rock. And what that means is in yourself, build yourself on the solid rock that you know who you are and you have done some great things. Yeah. Owning your worth is the foundation. It's the bedrock. It's the foundation of who you need to be. And as we do that, as we own our worth, we're able to go to the next point, Uni. And I want you to take this to the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Diana. So good. So good. And the daily practice, it's like you said, we cannot repeat it often enough because it's easy to forget, right? In our busy schedules. So that's why it's just as much a reminder for me every day as it is for everyone else. So this is, it's why we're honing this in. The second point is know your why. Yeah. And this is about getting really honest about how you're feeling. Because when it comes to boundaries, oftentimes it's like what you said, Diana, is that you look in hindsight, you're thinking, oh, like what went wrong? Like what was that? How did I get to this point where I'm so drained, I'm so exhausted? And you're feeling the frustration, maybe anger, a lot of stress. A lot of us are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and even lonely because you feel all alone because you have so much on your shoulders. You're carrying so much of things that are not your own as well, right? And so these are symptoms, all these feelings that we carry, all this maybe resentment even, are symptoms of that you need to maybe set some new, reevaluate what boundaries do you have in place today, if at all, right? And what new boundaries do you need? And so boundaries, the reason why boundaries are so important is boundaries define the limits on what you will accept and allow in your life, in your business life, at work, in your personal life, in your love life, in all of your relationships.
Preaching.
Oh, right. And so this is when you say to people, by setting boundaries, you're saying to people, this is where I draw the line in the sand. Right?
I love that. Ooh, right? I love that, Uni. I mean, because I hope people are taking messages and friggin' repeat, put this on repeat what Uni just said, right? It's a hashtag. You need to. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so the last thing that I'm going to say about knowing your why is to get clear. And that is also where the daily practice comes in, right? If you have a daily practice and you can sort of reflect upon what's going right in my life right now, and where do I need some sort of improvement, right? That's where you get clear. So before you set any boundaries in your personal life, in your business, at work, at anywhere, ask yourself, does this boundary truly benefit me and my business and the people in it? Right?
Yeah.
So just reflect upon that to get clarity on what boundaries you need and where you need them in your life, right? Because there are different situations and different places for everything.
This is so good. Every time we do these sessions, Uni, I listen to you and I learn so much. I really think that's the value of really, as women and as just people in general, working with other people, and you lean on each other's experiences. You hear something you've heard before, but you've never heard it quite that way.
Yeah.
So I believe it's so important. The whole get honest thing. I was just sharing this with my son the other day because I said, when will you begin to get honest with yourself?
Mm.
Like, when will you start to make some truths with yourself as opposed to everyone else?
Yeah.
Because you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Quit lying to yourself because your mind knows you're lying.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's
your heart knows, and your soul knows,
your soul knows.
And I
Yes.
think that what you're saying there, Diana, is so important because it really kind of sums up everything that's wrong with our world today and how we're all contributing in our own little way of what's wrong also. So stop, like what I want to say is like, stop complaining and criticizing everybody else and we need to start looking at our own lives. Where am I not being honest with myself?
Right.
Like how am I not respecting myself and my value, right? Like, how am I not doing that work? If we all did that, even just a little bit, and it's even just those little things can make a huge impact on other people as well.
Yeah, these are the real conversations media is not having, because the stuff that takes time, because really, honestly, when we think about it, this is the long game work. People are looking for shortcuts. They're looking for the quick fixes. They're looking for the things that are going to happen just tomorrow. This is something that has to be repeated over and over and over again. Obviously, that's why we're doing that over and over and over again. And I want to share with some folks, because I always think about books. I don't know if you know of any, but I do know of one book, Boundaries, by a psychologist named Henry Cloud. And he wrote a book. And then, of course, there's another book that I can think of, is called Guardrails. And in that is by, he's a pastor, Andrew, and I have to think about it in a moment. But those are two good books. Now, I haven't really heard, I'm sure they're out there, but it would be awesome too, because I tend to kind of lean towards the women's side of the house. Would be great to hear from a woman in that regard, because oftentimes, and this is something that's not in our slides, but I want to say this before we get to the next point, is that we women have hormones that oftentimes will cause us to shift into a state of, and vulnerability is not a bad place, but vulnerability that leaves us susceptible to doing things that we may not want to do.
Yeah.
And it's called estrogen. Now, I'm not saying this is a negative thing. This is a positive thing, ladies, because the hormones help us out so very much. However, when we are in that vulnerable state, really be certain to protect yourself and get honest with yourself, because sometimes it may be telling you other things that ain't really going on.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That is so important what you're saying. And to add to that, we're also living in a culture right now. I mean, this is everywhere across countries, right? Where we tend to go into the victim position and then we blame everything and everyone else around us, right? So this is also where boundaries is all about, not only respecting ourselves, but also making sure that, like, we need to be role models so that everyone can keep their boundaries and be respectful of themselves and other people. So I think it's the boundaries thing is just so important in the whole confidence conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's get to this final point here about be prepared to execute. Once you understand yourself, you articulate and clearly define your why, you can be prepared to execute. This is the thing that folks fall down on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Only set the boundaries you can keep. Now, this requires you to pause. And again, this is why the practice, the badass list, all of these come into place, because then you can really respect yourself. Okay. If you don't honor your own boundaries, no one else will. You all know this. You guys are, I know. I mean, everybody's saying, yep, she's right. Because look, Uni, she'll do it. She's got a million things going on. I know she's such a trooper, but she'll do it. And you know what? You, in your mind, you don't really respect yourself. So that's why you have got to make certain you're clear on the one boundaries you know you can keep.
Yes, absolutely. So true. This is really where people, it's what you're saying. This is where we fall. This is where we fall flat, is on the execution part. And we have to be prepared to follow through. So you have to really think about it. Like, how am I really willing to follow through? If I'm working with someone and that person is constantly late, which makes me late, which makes me look unprepared toward art, it's just an example.
Right.
First of all, it's important to is this a boundary that I want to keep, right? Do I need this person to be on time? And if it's important to you, then tell the other person, communicate, tell them, listen, I've noticed you often come in late, and that is a problem for our work and for our clients, for everyone. So I'm going to give you, this is a warning, and you will have, I will give you, 3 more warnings or 2 more warnings or whatever it is for you. But if you continue showing up late, I'm going to have to let you go.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
This is the confidence series right here. Yeah. See, this is what I hear parents having issues, right? Yeah. Because y'all don't follow through. You do not follow through. Exactly. And I love what we wrote here. You will be tested.
Yeah, you will be tested. Every single time you set a boundary, you will be tested. Because whenever you set a new boundary, the people around you have been so used to you always like, oh, it's fine. Don't worry. Like, I'm going to be late, but that's fine. She's going to be fine. Like, no worries about that. Like, no, she's no longer fine with you showing up late. Right. So you will be tested. And what I'm going to say, and this is from another coach that I had, Pat Honiades, and I'll post her link also in the comments under the video. She said this one thing to me, and this really stuck with me, is that you cannot honor your own boundaries and take care of the other person's feelings at the same time. Wow. And this is where for us women, it's really hard, right? We cannot be respectful of ourselves and our boundaries if we're also going to worry about what they think about us and what they think about the new boundaries that you're setting.
Yes, it's so true.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's where you're getting into this. Have no attachments to the reaction. Exactly. I want to reference also the interview between Michelle Obama and Oprah, our friends, because one day we're going to be talking to them. So putting that out.
Absolutely.
So Michelle Obama said something so clear. And again, I'm going to put that video in the link that we post on YouTube and on Facebook. Here it is. She said, stop editing yourself. Stop muting yourself, because what you keep doing is you keep stopping yourself from speaking because you're so thinking about the reaction that other people are going to have of you, right? And so she said, lay it out on the table and let it sit there. Let it sit there. Don't say anything. Don't you open your mouth, and you just let it sit there, because you are really also not able to deal with the silence that is going to come when you drop that bomb, when you follow through, because they're going to be like, and don't sit there and go, well, I mean, no, don't say anything. Remember, you cannot honor your boundaries and take care of the other person feeling at the same. Girl, that is a full stop message right there.
Absolutely. And it's all about, we have to stop justifying ourselves all of the time, right? Like this is especially for women. We have to stop justifying why we are setting this boundary, why we're doing what we're doing. We don't need to justify. Lay it, like you said, lay it out on the table and leave it there. And if that is a no, I will not do that, it's a no. right? So you show up in your power, you show up in confidence, and you say it like it is.
Say it like it is. I said what I said. Okay, this is so good, Uni. This is why we do this. Because first of all, I have life. My arms are tingling. I feel something. Okay. So I know everyone that's watching this is feeling something. And so how did we do? Was this helpful to you? You know, rate this, give us a score. We want to know, because guess what? We're confident women and we can take it. We want to know, is this helpful? Can you share in the comments, share in the Facebook comments, share in the YouTube recording? What would you like to hear? What would you like to see? Do you have a question? Share that with us.
Absolutely. Because we are doing this for you. This is something that we do it for ourselves. Of course, I love doing this, but we're doing this for you. So we want to be useful for you, that you get, the value for the time that you spend watching this video or watching this live. So please let us know. We will be here every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern New York, or 4 p.m. Central Europe time, which is where I am in Oslo. So
yes. And if you want to, and most of you will be watching the recording. If you're watching the recording on your phone, it might be difficult to do this. But of course, if you're watching, and I would take a picture of it. If you are on your phone, I would just take a picture of it, and then you can kind of figure it out from there. I don't know how they would do that. But if you are watching this, of course, on your laptop or on just a computer, easy to go ahead and connect with us, because we want to be able to help you. So this is the best way that you can stay really connected to both Uni and I.
Absolutely. And we post a lot on social media as well. So go ahead and follow Diana, follow myself, and give us feedback there. Just let us know what you think, and ask for what you want more of.
And you are the most important person to invest into right now. So that's right. That was the best. Thank you so much, Uni.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, everyone, for watching, for listening. Hope you got something out of this.
Bye-bye.